don't do this one, I have to get that to Jody.
Yeah.
I'll send it to him.
Okay, it's 1:30. All right, I'll call this meeting of the inspectors of the Carbon County Jail to order. It's January 18th, 2023, and it's 1:30. Meeting is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Are there any guests present? With that, everybody's had the opportunity. I know the minutes were sent out from the last meeting held December 21st, 2022. Does anybody have any questions or changes or corrections to the minutes? I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 21st, 2022. Motion by Mark, second by Dan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstained since I was absent.
Oh, we should reflect that I did receive a call from Rocky and he's unable to be here, so he'll be deemed to be excused from these proceedings. Reports of any executive sessions held, we hadn't had any. We weren't in executive session last meeting, I don't think at all. All right, reports of committee, maintenance report.
Sykes Brothers was in for their monthly service. We had A&W in plumbing in to jet one of the kitchen drain lines. We had Train was in for their quarterly PMs. I just got the email not long before I came here of the report, which I will forward to everyone so you can see, you know, what he found, which really wasn't much, just one unit. We have to adjust the pulleys on the roof. Clean Air Systems went for their 6-month cleaning of the kitchen exhaust. Pump house update. Pump 2, which is the one that was just recently replaced, no charge from the manufacturer, started making some noise. So I contacted John to let him know about that. He stopped in, he made a couple tweaks to it, the noise went away for about a day or two, started back up, so he said if we can, we'll turn it off until he finds more information out about it. But it was working proper, but it definitely sounds similar to the way they did before when they would go. So that's where that's at. I know Carbon Environmental, he reached out to me on Friday. I guess they're gonna contact John as well, and they're gonna come up and take a look when they have a chance and try to figure something, or Carbon Engineering, I'm sorry, when they have a chance. And then if you want, I know the engineer from Bowmanstown's Water Authority. He'd be willing to come up and just take a look for no charge. Anything more than that would have, but I can just, you know, pick his brain a little if you guys are interested or not. I know we typically just only deal with Carbon Engineering though.
Do you have a record of how many pumps have been replaced already since that project?
I'd have to go back through all my
If you would.
paperwork. But I know all
This
3
is-
pumps were replaced under warranty. And I think pump 2 has been replaced twice since. I'd have to check on 1 and 3 if they've both been replaced after warranty as well.
We have not had this problem with the previous design and the
No, I
pumps.
mean, actually, when they rehabbed the unit, when they rehabbed the pump house, one of the pumps was, I believe, was still one of the original pumps because it was painted the same color as all the piping and stuff to it.
I know
I don't-
Mark brings this up all the time. We keep having the same issue over and over
Yeah.
again, and if Carbon Engineering is gonna look at it, great. But if you have somebody else who's not familiar with it at all and works on things like this, willing to come up and take a look at it for free, what harm is that gonna cause to get a second opinion, just to see what they're gonna say? I mean, maybe we need to go in another direction eventually, but
I think Williams had made the same offer as well some time ago, so here, I mean, we definitely have to find out how many times these pumps have been replaced, and, have somebody else look at it maybe and just get a second opinion, but I think we have to start, putting some pressure on the design and engineer and the, manufacturer of the pumps, cause it's ridiculous.
Yeah, because the problems we were having, that's why the manufacturer sent,
Right.
it's like previously they just replaced like the wet end. Well, here they replaced the entire housing for the wet end and everything, everything but the motor itself was replaced.
And fortunately, the rehab was, the agreement with Alvarez was under another contract, really. They weren't,
Cause he worked through Bognet, I believe.
yeah, that's the other issue. And the other issue we have now, while we're on that maintenance of the tank and the pump, it's been 5 years since we've had the drone inspection on the interior of the tank, and they, at that time, had recommended every 5 years to have a drone inspect the interior of the tank, so.
Well,
I
when
know-
they did the pump house, they emptied the tank, cleaned it and resealed it.
5 years ago,
That was 2020.
I thought it was before that,
Now they
when
did,
the drone was,
when, I don't, the
well, then I'm off on
drone,
the years.
not a drone, no, that, but they did recondition, like they put new bolts on, they took a panel out, they put
Oh, yeah.
scaffolding
Yeah,
inside, and that was
okay,
September, October
I
of
was going
20.
by the date, and maybe that was a proposal, what I was looking at, was they
Yeah, that's-
recommended of 5 years. So even if it's not now, it's something we have to look at the future.
Right.
Are we gonna proceed and not wait till 20 years down the road? The tank was never maintained, so if it is 20,
I remember
like you
the-
say,
the
and
guys that
25, we
came
have to,
in
we should get a drone inspection of it.
Yeah, the guys that came in and cleaned out the tank and power
Mhm.
washed and stuff,
Yeah.
they said they really haven't seen many tanks at that age that were that clean.
But, well, then just put it on your agenda, I would say, and see what the board wants to do in 2024. Because it'd be coming up on next year's budget then. Maybe get a cost of doing it and decide then.
Put that on your maintenance for that, that we have to bring it up in 2024.
Okay.
And I don't know,
Include it or draw in.
yeah, as far as the pumps, I don't know if there's anything we could legally do yet. So,
You'd think there'd be a lemon law type of clause, Bob.
You would think so, but probably not.
So Kent
maybe
Bowman's
cut the
town,
timeframe.
It's Van Cleef Engineering is who they have.
can they look at it at least?
Oh,
If they're gonna do it
Well,
for
I don't
free?
have a problem with that.
I mean, I don't wanna bring anybody in without,
I don't think it could hurt, like I said, another set of
like I
eyes,
say,
see what you think.
if you want Scott to come up from,
Well, it
Wait,
doesn't matter who,
yeah,
I mean, it's, I don't have a problem with
just to have an idea.
having somebody come in. I don't think there's any problem legally wise or anything like that, that probably should have a second opinion, see what the heck is going on, I don't know.
It's professional services.
Yeah.
Be able to bring anybody in you wanna take a look at it. On a violation of any contract or agreement you have with. We need a motion to that effect, or do we just direct,
I'll make it a motion that we have a second party come in and, at no cost and look at it.
there's a motion made by,
Second?
second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then continuing on, I contacted Buckman Iron and Metal, they are in the Copley area, and they'd be willing to come up and haul out the scrap metal and stuff that we have, and there wouldn't be a charge for it, we probably wouldn't get any money, but at least they could come up one day, get everything out of there. They said they just need like 1 to 2 weeks' notice, and they could have them there. As far as the semi-trailer, I'm still looking for someone, there is someone that might take a look at it, but I think it's not in as good a shape as you're hoping for. But you can gladly come up and take a look.
Yeah, well, the fire training committee, we talked about it a little bit yesterday with Joe Greco about looking at it, because we need something similar for storage of the pallets and the straw to keep it away from the burn building, et cetera. So just for protection from the weather, We'll take a quick look, but the way it sounds, it's not gonna work for us. Cause of the
You
condition.
wanna wait till after, who's gonna look at that, Joe?
Joe and I will go up and look
Okay,
at it.
just let them know once you look at it and then tell
Yeah.
Rodney and I guess we should go. I think we should have a formal motion to have, what's that place called, please, Buckman?
Buckman, Iron and
To
Metal.
have them do it because you have a well, it's county property, and does that fall back to you guys? Cause I think it's nominal value, that doesn't have to be added.
Anything that had county stickers on, tags on, that I've already called purchasing and they've taken them
Okay.
out of the system.
But is that property worth, is over $1,000, do you think?
100. I thought it
That
was
becomes the issue. I think we ran into that before. If it's worth over 1,000,
I think as,
no,
as it
Hundred.
sits,
Ellie says 100.
She said
Yeah.
100.
well, $100.
$100.
Ooh.
as it sits where it is, it's determined, you can determine it to be, you have to look at the, from my understanding, doing municipal, you have to look at the purpose of what it is. You know, if it's a broken chair, it could be thrown in the garbage.
Right.
Can a broken chair be taken for scrap and get 30 cents? You know, that's where you get into this issue. This is garbage that's sitting there. The guy's taking it away. If you're dealing with it as scrap, then you gotta advertise it as scrap, but I don't think we're in the business of maintaining a scrap pile. This is broken pieces of equipment and garbage that would normally you'd throw in a dumpster and throw away. You're saving the cost of throwing it away. You're not obligated to sell garbage that you would dispose of, that you
I'm
would
just
throw away.
bringing it fact up because that's what we had to do when we got rid of cars that were junk to us.
Obviously, with a motor vehicle, you're in a different thing. You're not throwing away a motor vehicle. We're doing pieces of broken.
Okay,
And that's what I think. I don't know, Bob. You could clarify that. You're the solicitor.
okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a quick search here anyway.
You'd have to advertise scrap. Is what you would do. You would like it's not an RFP. It's an actual advertisement that you could advertise. I forget. They've changed some of the laws since they've been doing it. You might be able to do it on social media, but you have to advertise. There's
Time
gonna
to
be,
change that one
to
too.
do it, there's gonna be more of a cost than what you're gonna get
I
through
agree.
the advertising. I think you just have to make a determination of a value before you get to that point of whether you need to
It's worth
to
$900.
advertise. And I don't know how you place a value on things that you throw away.
I mean, some of
Well,
it.
I think the commissioners can just declare it to be of nominal value, and then you just move on. That's my recollection, but
Okay,
Cause this guy, just his proposal was that he'd come take it away and not even pay us anything. So anybody that you put this out for, they're gonna have to estimate the cost of
It's not
picking it up and throwing it away as opposed to the actual value. Nobody's gonna buy it. And you waste the money on advertising to do it three
Well, I
times for
agree.
you to do a private sale or dispose of it.
Because I know we've already tried, we've gone through purchasing, they already had someone that was willing to come up and pay us for it, but then I guess he's farther away, so he was gonna charge mileage to get here, so it probably would've wound up costing us more for him to come and take it than
Then you'd receive.
we would've received, so then that was put on hold as well.
Well, is it, Bob,
yeah,
is it a determination by the commissioners that it has no value, we'd have to wait for them to do that? Our recommendation is, we have a motion to recommend to the commissioners to determine the value of the junk that was there to have no value and have it disposed of at your next commissioners meeting.
that's fine.
So that would be the motion, a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
And a motion made by the sheriff, is there a second? Second, all those in favor say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
And the
Anything
only-
else, any
The
other?
only other thing I had was the tree removal. You guys, if you guys can come up and mark the ones that you want gone, and, you know, if I have a little time here and there, we can take a couple down at a time here and there.
Alright, we'll do that.
I mean, it'd be cheaper
I'll get out.
than contracting it out, maybe some of the
Absolutely.
maybe some of the bigger ones, cause I know we just took a couple down at the fire company and it was a few $1,000s just to take like 2 trees down.
It's an expensive process, let's look what we can get rid of, there's nothing there that's it's more scrub stuff that's just laying around, and little by little we'll piecemeal our way around it and get it away from it. But we don't want anybody getting hurt taking down a tree, at all.
through with Rodney and get it marked and get that going.
Yeah.
When the weather breaks or whatever, they can start getting it done.
I'd like to try to do some of them while it's still cold, so I
Right.
don't have to worry about the snakes.
And the underbrush and everything growing up around it, yeah. Okay, anybody else have any questions on the maintenance report? Anything else, Rodney?
That's it.
Nothing on the report, but the other thing that was talked about, they use the bag salt right now versus having a salt shed or something where they can get it a heck of a lot cheaper. So over the long run, unless we don't get icy weather for the rest of our lives, but we should probably look in doing something in the
Something possibly
'24
doing a
budget
salt
as well.
shed, But then I'd also need something to be able to put the salt into the spreader, and if we're gonna do that, it'd be nice to have a bigger spreader in the truck, and
Okay, wait.
Well,
and if we're gonna be responsible for doing the plowing at the training center,
yeah,
it'd be nice to have another vehicle as well.
what do you, that, you got your comm center there, and that's your, in an emergency, which could be snow-related or weather-related, what do you guys have, for that? Cause that might be a overall commissioners type thing. Because it's not just prison board related, I know he's mentioning it, but you have your training center, you have your comm
Yeah.
center, you have the prison, and that's gotta be maintained, but the comm center is your big key, cause that's your emergency coordination spot. And that's why they're top of the list when the power goes out, BPL comes right there first. Which is why
I
they
guess
don't have
we
a
can discuss
generator,
it
'cause they don't
further,
like
what
rate.
our plans, under maintenance maybe, and look at how we can, try to save money on salt.
It's understandable, you're looking at saving money on salt as opposed to the cost of the shed in the long run on it.
In the long run, I think it would pay for the shed, but it's, like I said, I mean, not like I
Well, not
couldn't
only
use
that,
a small skid steer
We're
or
talking
something up there
safety here
anyway.
as well with lifting salt bags and everything and that too. So that's the last thing we need is a medical claim and back that somebody's gonna be out permanently. And if it's an inmate, it's even worse probably. Okay, we just have to, before next year, take a bigger, better look at it.
Closer look at it, okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Alright, work release report.
Afternoon, presented to the board is the monthly work release report. We're a total of 5 individuals on the program, 3 currently being on the program. Revenues are listed on the report. Also submitted is the monthly in-house work program, which had a total of 19 on the in-house. So if there's any questions,
Any questions on the work release report? Or you need more time with it? Alright, thank you, Frank. And we'll move to the plan of action committee.
So the plan of action committee met on the 13th of this month at the prison, so just to provide an update, I know we're working on some things, but I believe Commissioner Lukasevich had asked warden and deputy warden to submit some accomplishments. But they did so. We had asked the same thing, we kind of did double work, so I didn't know how many you wanted.
I was doing just 3 bullet statements there. We're gonna meet with Jim to talk about it.
So I think they're gonna come up with a more comprehensive list as well. I think it's important that the prison board and the public in general is aware of the good work that they're doing, so they were working on that. In terms of the other items here, I'll ask the warden or deputy warden to add anything I may have forgotten. But the tablet use, GTL is updating the OMS system, which is the new jail management system. So once that's done, I believe GTL is then gonna focus on the tablets as well as the apps that were gonna be included on those tablets. And then that was going to be implemented, and I believe we'll need, I don't know if we have a policy for that yet or not for the tablets, so we'll have to work on that. The
I'm sorry, was there a vote to move forward with the tablets?
I thought the warden and deputy warden were gonna make recommendations in terms of the apps that were gonna be included on that and bring it to the prison board. to then vote on the
Okay,
adoption
right,
of that.
yeah, it stated like it was a foregone conclusion, okay.
Right, yeah, I
okay.
think we needed more information.
Yep, yeah, that's what it was, I thought we were gonna have an actual demonstration, you all were gonna determine what apps would be appropriate and. Oh, yeah.
So once that system gets done, it's my understanding the focus will be on those apps and then they'll bring it to prison board. The implementation plan that the assessors had done is being worked on, the warden and deputy warden are updating that. The ION scanner, that was approved, I believe, at the last commissioners meeting, so that will be, I think it's ordered. We're waiting on the arrival of that. The current camera system, we do have the Johnson Controls maintenance agreement, as well as proposal for the upgrades to the software. I believe that was all submitted to Ellie. I think the commissioners have that pending approval, the last I knew. Does that sound right?
I'm gonna ask Ellie, does that sound right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The Johnson Controls
Where's that?
camera maintenance and software agreement,
Yes,
did that get given to the commissioners for
yes, it
approval?
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so
That-
hopefully that gets resolved.
It's not on the agenda for tomorrow, I didn't see the agenda yet.
Yes, it is.
Is that like the 85 cameras or something that was,
80.
okay,
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
okay, then I saw, it. Okay, saw it in the past,
Yeah.
alright,
The next item is the Polycom systems. You know, we've been talking about this for more than a year. There are currently 2 systems, they're outdated, and there was a proposal to get 3 more. Where we arrived was kind of coordinating with GTL to see if they had an app that could help instead of purchasing all those Polycoms, which were way more expensive. The warden and deputy warden report that the current Polycom systems are functioning. There's not really a need to update them, so I think, you know, rather than outpouring that money, there's not a need for it if we can still use those as well as the apps on the tablet. I think we'll know more about that once GTL gives their presentation. So rather than spending that money, and I believe the last proposal I saw from the company was almost $36,000. So I don't really see a need to spend that at this point, moving forward.
I just have one question. I know we were talking with them with that. The Polycoms that we are using are, and I know our court accesses them without any problems. Do any other courts, when utilizing them, have any problems accessing the Polycom machines that we have? Other than them just being old, they're not broken down or there's not, they're malfunctioning.
The other courts that use Polycom, they work fine, it's just that a lot of other courts don't use that type of system. They use Zoom and other type of
Okay.
web-based versions.
And that was one of the conversations we have, to cut down on transportation, resources, pulling people out of programming. The warden and deputy warden were told that they can't get a Zoom license up there. I've never heard that, I don't know why, several of us already have Zoom licenses, because if they had that, then they're able to communicate with other prisons who use Zoom. So
Doesn't sound right.
didn't sound right to me either. So we're gonna look into that, because if that's a matter of getting a Zoom license with a dedicated computer on it, there may not be a need to update those Polycoms, because we can just use Zoom for, I think my license I just paid for the sheriff's office was $150. So we're gonna explore that a little further. So, you know, when you kinda look at the Polycoms and the camera system, the tablets, the Zoom, it kinda all fits together. So we're gonna just try to be as informed as we can and make the best recommendation. And then lastly, the prison tabletop that was conducted at the end of last year. There are some steps related to the prison. The warden and deputy warden are aware of that, so we're addressing those on an ongoing basis so that we can develop what the external response to a crisis at the prison will be. Just some other issues that were discussed for the group. There is now an appropriate number of staff trained on the body scanner. Firearms training is complete, and that's an ongoing, will occur on an ongoing basis. First aid instructors are trained. PREA has rolled out, and we're waiting on a self-driven online training for that. That was, Sergeant Candy did that in person. It's difficult for some people to get there in person. If you make it available through a PowerPoint that somebody can access, then they don't need to go up there and they can do it right from their desk. So we're looking at doing that. Post orders are being worked on. The ballistic vests have been received, that's working well. Inmate handbooks are working well. Prime Care is doing a real good job up there. No, no issues with the new food service provider. Live scan training is continuing to go forward. I believe almost everybody in the sheriff's office is trained. Several additional people at the prison are trained, and we're trying to get the local PDs there. In the event that they can't get there and there's a need, that's why the sheriff's office is trained. We could activate our on-call and send deputies there to do it. The job fair, I think, was a very successful venture, and they're working on scheduling another one of those job fairs in the future. We talked about the pump issues, and I'll just reintroduce what we talked about, a need for us to explore a more secure entrance there with a guard shack. It's something we gotta continue, I think, to keep on the list, because there's definitely a need. Mark Nalesnik reported yesterday in the safety committee, simply by putting those cones in the area at the top of the driveway where parking was, has significantly reduced people in there carrying loaded rifles on the property. I think we had one complaint about that, but otherwise, that has significantly been reduced. That's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Dan? Thank you, Dan. All right, Warden's report.
Okay, the following we have the warden's report from December 1st to December 31st of 2022. We had 58 male admissions, 14 female admissions. We had 81 male releases with 21 female releases. Our population as of the 31st of December was 98 males, 26 males, for a total of 124. Our 2022 admissions was 1,089. Our transport and hospital visits, we had 1 transport to an OBGYN, 9 to specialists, for a total of 10 transports. We had no hospital admissions for the month. That completes the report.
Any questions on our Warden's report? I'll entertain a motion to accept the Warden's report.
Motion to approve the warden's report.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Executive session.
We just have one item we'd like to talk about.
And so we're going into executive session then for a personnel matter. Okay, let the record reflect that the Carbon County Prison Board was in executive session on a personnel matter. Next matter on the agenda is a personnel report. Everybody have a copy of the personnel report?
Motion to accept the personnel report.
Motion made by Wayne, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dan, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there any new business? There being no new business, is there any old business? Alright, then we'll move down to correspondence. Any correspondence? We're just moving right along. No correspondence. I assume you have nothing to report,
No
as
report.
usual. Okay, thank you. Nothing from the solicitor. Is there any further business or anything for the good of the Carbon County Prison